DirBuster is a web application security tool designed to help discover and exploit directory traversal vulnerabilities. It is commonly used for penetration testing and security assessments to identify hidden directories and files on a web server. DirBuster was developed by OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project, an open source organization focused on improving the security of software. Here's a brief history of DirBuster, development and release. DirBuster was initially developed by OWASP as an open-source tool to aid security professionals in identifying and securing web applications. It was released to the public to enhance web application security by identifying potential vulnerabilities related to insecure configurations and hidden directories. Objective: the primary goal of DirBuster is to perform brute force attacks on web servers, attempting to discover hidden directories and files by systematically testing a large number of possible paths. This helps security professionals and penetration testers identify areas of a web application that may not be properly protected or configured. Features: DirBuster comes with features like multi-threading support, proxy support, and a customizable word list for directory and file name brute forcing. Users can configure it to use different attack methods, such as a recursive brute force or a dictionary attack. Integration with OWASP. As an OWASP project, DirBuster is aligned with the organization's mission to improve software security. It has been used in conjunction with other OWASP tools and resources to enhance web application security assessments. Evolution and alternatives. Over time, web application security tools have evolved, and new tools have emerged. While DirBuster has been a valuable tool, security professionals now have a variety of options to choose from, including alternatives like DirSearch, GoBuster, and
Okay, so Mo's already given you the brief history of DirBuster, but I want to show you a little bit more how to use it. And I've loaded up the Earth CTF from VulnHub and already done the work to find the IP address and set up everything in etc hosts. So we're ready to get started with DirBuster, trying to fuzz this website and find all the hidden directories. So here, we're going to do this with Kali, and I simply just need to open the menu and search for DirBuster. And DirBuster's a graphical user tool, so we're going to actually have something that we can point, click, and look at and interact with, versus having to do this in more of a, say, command line environment. So the first thing we're going to need to do is fill out the URL of the target, and DirBuster doesn't allow us to copy and paste this in, so we're going to have to enter this. So once we have the URL entered in, the next section of this kind of tells us the work method. We want to keep that usually generally as auto. We could just use get requests. What auto is going to do is switch back and forth between two different types of requests and allow us a little bit better chance of uncovering sites or directories. Number of threads, I usually just click go faster. And for our word list, we can either do a pure brute force, which is basically going to start at some number of characters and up to another number of characters, and it's going to try every possible combination. This method is typically a lot longer than using a word list and may be necessary for whatever task you're doing, but we're going to stick to a word list today, and Kali comes pre-configured with word lists. So if we go to the root directory and go to the USR share, and we scroll all the way over and then scroll back to the W's, you'll see word list and DirBuster. And really we have a few different ones to choose from here. I'm going to choose the medium list 2.3 and select it, and it shows up here, so we know we have a list configured. We can set this to a couple of different settings: URL fuzzing, which basically starts in a directory and goes from there, or the standard start point, which allows us to customize some different file types. So we can look for HTTP files, HTML files, text files, old files, etc., etc. We set our start point. We can tell it to use blank if we want to try that. I'm going to leave it off. For the different file types, we separate all of them with a comma, and then we simply go ahead and press start. It tells us how many requests per second we're outputting. This is relatively low, and it's probably due to the fact that the software is just starting up. We usually run somewhere around about 1,000 requests a second on this particular machine. Coming over here, we see more of the output of what we're looking for. A lot of times we get some of these different responses. It will save anything that is a non-existent response here. So what we can do is sort the responses, and I usually just look at 200 requests. Obviously, some of these other responses might be necessary for you for whatever you're doing and give you more insight into the website, but they're also quite often incorrect, like Microsoft, I'm pretty sure is not in here. Maybe rules or some of these others are. And unfortunately, when we get these random weird responses, it will continue to try to fill out this directory fully. So it adds to the amount of time that DirBuster is going to take to finish running. But if you stick to these above 200s, usually you can find things pretty fast. This admin/login is fairly interesting here for being a login page. And we can actually right click on it and we can open it in our browser, and it's going to automatically send it over to our browser so we can view it and kind of check out what's going on. So this was a super simple and short tutorial on using DirBuster. It's really not a super complex tool all in all. We can get into some more advanced options and look at a few different things with it, but it's a very simple and straightforward. That's why it's become, in my short time as doing CTFs, one of my favorite tools. I definitely think that my experience levels don't make me a good judge of this type of tool, but right now I really like this tool, so I wanted to take a few moments to show it to you. I hope you enjoyed this content, and please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing if you want to learn more about Linux related content. As always, have a good night.